Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Well, as you might know, the 2024 real estate season started off with a lot of optimism, and that's because of the way 2023 came to a close in the fall. Interest rates were at a scary 8%, scaring off a lot of buyers like my buyers, but then things started to get a lot better as the year started coming to a close. As we saw in December, interest rates finally got under 7%. January came around and people were like very optimistic. Like my buyers, interest rates were already dropping close to 6.64%. But then February came around and it showed to be a double-faced month. It looked good at the beginning, but at the end, it took a big bite of any buyer's purchasing power and also a big bite of the optimism. I'm going to tell you why in a short bit. Hey guys, Julian Gonzalez here with RSVP Real Estate. Thanks so much for tuning in. As always, I say it's an honor. I really appreciate when people tune into my channel because on this platform, there's so many great channels with some great videos to look at. So when you focus on mine, I find it a big honor when you do so. If at any point of this video, guys, you learned something that helps you make some kind of decision, whether it's buying or selling your real estate, I greatly appreciate maybe punching that like button. And if you haven't done so already, again, it's an honor when people subscribe to my channel because there's so many great channels, again, out there to choose from. Hey, and if you live here in the Seattle area and would like to talk more about real estate, maybe talk about what the market looks like or what your goals are that maybe I could give you some advice or help you out with, down in the descriptions below, there's a link that you can schedule something with me at your earliest convenience or you feel you're ready to start talking about real estate in 2024. Okay, guys, so the Northwest MLS came out with its data for February 2024, and it looks good, and it looks, I don't know if good would be a great word, but I guess there's a little bit of optimism. It's very seasonal because the data just shows that we're getting closer to the spring. You know, going back to what I said at the top of this video, interest rates in the fall of 2023 were at 8%. Things started to slide down. Interest rates hit, again, 6.64. People are like, this is great. But unfortunately, the Fed, with its announcement that's going to kind of hold off doing any interest cuts, and then we got the consumer price index just going up. Well, that put a lot of fear in the market. Interest rates began to shoot back up. And right now, as of the beginning of March, sit at 6.94. And that's something big, considering that there is a little math equation in the lending world that for every percentage point that goes up in rates, buyers lose about $40,000 in buying power. And that's a big number. The only good news that we saw from the data that came out in February is that at least we got an increase in inventory. Some more than others, but it did increase statewide for the Northwest MLS because it represents 26 of the 39 counties here in Washington State. And in those 26 counties, inventory rose together by as much as 4%. Maybe not in some of the other counties like King County, Snohomish and Pierce County as we had hoped, but it did increase a little bit, especially in King County. Now I'm going to go over those numbers in a short bit for the counties, King, Snohomish, and Pierce County. Plus I'm going to focus on Seattle, and like I did in my last video. And also, I know a lot of you commented and really liked that I also took a look at the Eastside. So one thing you're going to see from the numbers is that it could be because of the interest rates going up, but in the month of February, the Northwest MLS is reporting that there was a decrease by as much as 2% year over year from February 2024 to February 2023, a 2% decrease in the amount of homes closed. And we're talking about residential homes and also condos combined. And if that wasn't good enough numbers to digest, we're going to add a little bit more to that indigestion by saying that also in the month of February, we saw an increase in the median sales price by as much as 6% in all the 26, again, counties that make up the Northwest MLS. Now, we're going to take a look at the numbers. And again, we're going to focus on King County, Snohomish County, and Pierce County, the counties closest here to the Seattle metropolitan area. And we're going to focus on Seattle and also on the area out on the east side. So let's take a look at the numbers right now. All right, first thing I want to say, guys, as we're talking about residential properties here. I'll get into the condos in the next couple of days, so you can tune in for that, because the condo numbers are just as interesting as the residential homes. And again, we're talking about February, and what we're comparing is year-over-year numbers. So February 2024, February 2023. And again, we're going to start off here with King County. New listings, as you can see, a big, huge increase of 38.5% from the 12-month period. That's a huge increase. And you're going to see the number also be similar down, up in Snohomish County. Pending sales, in other words, this is right here, 15.6% increase. We're talking about obviously an agreement between buyer and a seller. Basically, the seller saying, hey, I accept your offer. Now we're under contract. So that's what you're looking at right there. A drop of closed sales of 5%. That could be, again, people just a little bit worried about where the market's heading with the announcement of the increase of interest rates. So again, that's a decrease, and usually that number starts getting a little bit better as we get closer to the month of, or the period of spring, which is the hottest one. Days on market, see people are gobbling it up really quick. 32 days on the market compared to 12 months prior, and a decrease of 23.8%. Well, that decrease means is actually, hey, I better buy now before things get really crazy in the spring. Maybe a lot of buyers are getting wiser, listening to the brokers like myself and say, don't wait for the spring because your competition is going to waive more stuff. They're going to waive a lot of contingencies and drive up the price on you. Now, median sales price, how about this? An increase of 15.5%. So right now, the median sales price for a single family residential home in King County is $930,000. Now, if you're wondering what it was in January, well, in January, it was $862,000. Now, for a lot of you guys that are not quite familiar or don't know what median sales price is, it's fairly simple. So let's say if you have 5 properties and one house is $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, and $500,000. Those 5 homes, you pick the one in the middle, $300,000. So that's your median sales price would be the one for $300,000. See, easy enough. We were all there at one point. I know some of you are going, oh, yeah, but a lot of us didn't know at the beginning. So bear with me. So now let's look at the average sales price. That's what a lot of people look at, just average everything out. But we're trying to compare now a little bit, again, apples to apples, okay? So the average sales price in King County during the 12-month period of February 2023 to 2024, an increase of 15%. Again, you're waiting for rates to come down, but the market's not going to wait for you. There you see some other numbers here. Inventory, months of supply. How about an increase of 11%? So King County, the most expensive county in the state of Washington, doing a lot better than what I mentioned earlier, the state. The state was looking at an increase in inventory of 4%. King County saw an increase of 11%. And still, again, 1% is just terrible if you're not quite familiar with the inventory numbers. 1% is a 1 month worth of inventory. That'll go fairly quick. In a healthy market's about 4 to 6 month worth of inventory. So you can see how drastic that is. Now let's move forward to just north of King County, Snohomish County. And again, we're talking residential homes. New listings, again, like King County, over 30% increase of new listings. So that's good news for a lot of people out there that are, looking to buy a home and, not wanting to wait for the craziness of spring. You see not much difference here in the amount of pending sales during the month of February, just an increase of 0.6%. Closed sales, you see a drop, much like you saw in King County. There is a drop. People, again, not sure with the economy, what they're going to do with the Fed. When are they going to exactly cut rates? Median sales price, we see here an increase from 12 months prior of 6%. Now, again, if you're wondering what it was in the month of January compared to that $27,000, in the month of January, it was $717,000. So a slight increase compared to what we saw in King County. Average sales price, again, the market's not waiting for you. Now this one is totally, it caught my eye, raised my eyebrow. You see here in the 12-month period, there was an increase of these two numbers, 12-month period of 7.3%. However, In the month of January, so what, 30 days prior, the average sales price in Snohomish County was actually $811,679. So it's actually a decrease in the average sales price. So that's an interesting number that really caught my attention. A lot of people that love following data are here in the state of Washington or wherever you're at, to be honest with you, right? Months of supply, a decrease. So no bueno. They're not following Snohomish, the trend of the rest of the state, where everything was an increase of 4% in inventory. It's a decrease of inventory. And again, that could be a lot. Has to do with why it would decrease, why it could happen. A decrease is that sellers don't want to sell because they're locked into a lower rate. Why it happens in this county, it didn't happen in the other counties. There's a lot of factors that are involved in that. Moving on, Pierce County. Again, guys, once again, residential homes, condos, I'll do it in the next couple of days, so make sure you tune in for that. We're talking about the month of February, 12-month period, Pierce County. You see new listings, an increase, not as much as we saw in King County and Snohomish County, but there was a nice increase of 15%. Pending sales, the agreement between buyer and seller, hey, let's negotiate, and hopefully they could close like these people did right here. We saw a decrease in amount of homes closed for a 12-month prior. That's a nice number. That's actually a big number of people closing on a transaction. We're talking median sales price, average sales price. It wasn't that much of a difference. I mean, it was an increase. That's a huge increase in regards to a 12-month period. But in regards to just 30 days prior, the median sales price in Pierce County was $540,000, so $15,000. Yes, that's a big difference. But the whole scheme of things really isn't that much. And in the average sales price in the month of January, here we have $600,000. In month of January, it was $596, or what we're talking about, what, $3,000, $4,000 difference. Now, month supply, an increase of 30%. And Pierce County always has that, the best inventory when you compare them to the other counties that are in the Seattle, quote unquote, area. It's always an increase, but we all know, familiar with this area, King County and Snohomish County are more desirable places to live. Not saying that Pierce County is not, because there's some beautiful, great places out there. Out in Tacoma, there's some beautiful, beautiful, Puyallup, there's some great places. Farther by JBLM, some beautiful, great places. So let's not take a knock on the people in Pierce County. Now let's move on, guys. I know a lot of you guys want to see this. Now we're going to focus, a lot of you guys don't know what the Seattle area, or at least what the Northwest MLS considers to be the Seattle area. And these are the numbers I'm going to give you. So I want to first show you again the area of the MLS that they consider Seattle. So we're talking about here about Lake City. Here, all the line, including parts of course, Magnolia, West Seattle, just above White Center. Come down here to Lake Ridge, which is a great area. It's a real growing area in the Seattle market, if you want to call that. That's by Skyway, Mauer Bryn. Again, if you haven't been in that area, that's a really great area to focus on. In fact, right here, there's a property that's in this little, right on the coast of the lake, that just went off the market. They're trying to sell it. It was on the market, I can't remember, maybe a couple of weeks. That property, where they were asking, I think it was $4 million. And you're like, $4 million? Well, that property had a helicopter pad on the property. So if you want to sell it, just give me a call and I'll try to hook you up there. Now, let's take a look at the numbers for Seattle. Again, it just continues to increase in the month of Seattle, the market in a 12-month period. We're talking about, again, 12-month period, year over year, an increase of 12%. That's a whopping number, a huge number. It's not going to stop, guys. It's just going to continue to go. How high? Who knows? But again, our market's so different from other markets across the U.S., maybe just as in line with the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area. $927,000, guys, the median sales price. In the month of February, we see the total active listings, homes that are disposable or not disposable, are at the disposal of buyers out there is an increase. So that's good. As we saw also in King County, pending sales. There's a lot of activity going out there right now, an increase of 4%. Amount of property sold, you could see an increase from a year ago, so maybe not in line from what we saw in King County, but the Seattle area, it's like a locomotive, a brand new locomotive that is just full steam ahead. It's not going to stop, and you can just imagine how crazier it's going to get in the next couple of months. Inventory, you saw, that's pretty good, not great, but pretty good when we're talking about the amount of inventory, especially here in Seattle. Now let's move over to the other side of the lake, what we call the East Side. And just again, if you're not too familiar, I always said, at least I'll admit, when I first moved out here, I always thought East Side being just, Kirkland, Redmond, Bellevue, Mercer Island, maybe Juanita, Issaquah, I mean, that's it. No, but this is actually what the state of, or at least the Northwest MLS considers to be the East Side, the numbers that it pulls. So these are numbers I'm going to give you, goes all the way out east. And we're going towards, obviously we're going up here towards Leavenworth. So it goes kind of far. And if you go into Snoqualmie Pass, you dip out of King County and into Pierce County and back and forth. So that's pretty interesting. So let's look at the numbers out here. Yes, it's still staggering number for the East Side. It's just stunning, right? And we mentioned this before last week, how the area of Bellevue is one of the most expensive neighborhoods in all of the United States. And we see here why. We see the median sales price increase in a 12-month period by 9.7%. So it's $1.47 million. And that's a staggering number. In fact, I'm going to give you a crazy number when I'm done with this here. Then we look at the active, there's less active listings out there. And of course, that's just going to drive up this price. That's the reason it drives up this price. Pending sales, these two are kind of work hand in hand. If you look at the picture, these two are working hand in hand. Number of properties sold, same thing. It's just there's less inventory out there, the 18% that we saw up here. So you're going to have less. And inventory at 1.34, yeah, kind of better if you'd like to call it that. So yeah, things are not looking good for a lot of buyers as we get closer to the February market, or sorry, the spring market. So I told you a short while ago, I'll tell you a crazy story. I was reading the Seattle Times where there was a broker out in Kirkland. The broker listed a 3-bedroom Rambler in Kirkland, and she got 43 offers. 43 offers, and the winning offer, the one that won it, paid over 30% over list price. That's a crazy number, guys, and it's not going to stop, guys. This market's not going to wait for you. So you wait for those interest rates to come down. It's going to continue to rise. Remember, I always say, you marry the property, but you date the rate. Get that property, and you could always refinance down the road. When it will happen, nobody's sure. But at least you grab onto that property. In fact, one lesson I could teach you from the East Side, let's forget about the East Side, anywhere. My buyer is looking for a property out on the East Side. Submit an offer. We submit an offer for $1.8 million. And the listing broker called to say, hey, you know what? You guys made the final 3. And they said, if you want to raise the price up. My buyer smartly didn't do that. Didn't get the house for $1.8 million. But the lesson here, the point is that at least my buyers get it. Guys, don't overextend yourselves. If you feel like 1.8 or pick any number, maybe $500,000, that's the max we're going to feel comfortable with. Stick to that number. Don't go any higher, because the last thing you want to do, guys, is basically be held hostage by your mortgage. You want to enjoy life. You want to do other things. You want to go out and say, hey, look, I'm comfortable with this mortgage, but hey, let's continue to travel. Let's do this. Not kind of give up the finer things in life because, man, I can't go on this trip. I can't go to these concerts because I got to pay my mortgage. And that's what you don't. Stick to a number, guys. Be disciplined. Stick to the number. Remember, as my boss, Andy, says, it's something close to this, The property you're meant to be in will be the property you'll be in. Good luck, guys.